Hey everyone, welcome back. Those of you who are new, my name is Evan, also known as the Storm Taco on Instagram. And in today's video, we're going to be installing the Rugged Off-Road radio mount today, and definitely excited to show you guys that. It's definitely going to be a fun time. I know in the last video, I told you guys I was going to get it done that same day. Definitely didn't happen. It's been a couple days since then, but I will be showing you guys everything that comes in the kit and exactly how to install all of it and what to expect in the end. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and if you have any questions, make sure to ask down below. Other than that, let's get into it. Oh my! Here is the kit with the Rugged Off-Road over here. So just wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown of what we have before I install this. So right here we have the walkie itself, along with the stick-on mount that comes with it. So we've got that. It's attachment and a fuse on the inside. Let's see. And then we've got the radio itself right here. And we've got the wiring harness there that will connect to the walkie. Yep, here we go, we got the harness. Let's see if the fuses are in there. That is on there tight. Holy crap. I might need a plastic, that is stuck on there. Yeah, So, yeah, that'll be the battery. Okay, cool. Ooh, here's the mount, okay. So we got the mount portion for the radio itself. That'll go on here. And then fun stuff over here, we've got the antenna. I actually don't know where I'm mounting this just yet, so that's the hard part, is I've been putting this off for a little bit because I just didn't know where I was going to put that, but we'll see. Okay, that also goes to the antenna. And then more bracket mounts. I don't know if all of these go to the radio itself. Some of these may actually go to the antenna. Now that I'm looking at this, that's what this might actually go to. I'm not sure, just I'll have to look at the instructions. Mount antenna adapter. Oh, that's what that is. What's this? Mount antenna Toyota. Oh, so maybe that is good. Okay, good. Back to this. This might be what, yeah, that's where what goes onto the seat bracket right here. And now it's up there. This does too. What does this say? Okay, so it gives you a bunch of different antenna mounts just in case. So that's actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and read through the instructions, just make sure I'm doing everything right. And then I guess I'll go from there. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna install it in there. Yeah, I don't know. For this video, honestly, that was probably really quick little opening just to show you guys what we've got, because I've been working on a few stuff. Took apart the ARB compressor because I got to figure out what's wrong with that. I'm pretty sure it's just the relays on it were pretty corroded, so let's see if I can get some new ones of those. And then I have trim pieces out of the way because I accidentally spilled a crock pot full of soup all over the front passenger footwell, so it's been a fun time. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this stuff taken out. It is getting pretty late here, so I may just do that tomorrow. But yeah, so that's kind of the kit that you get with this. You get the radio, the walkie, the harness, antenna, and then you got the mount for the interior, and you have like 3-ish additional mounts you can use for the antenna. So that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and get that taken care of, and then I will show you guys what happens next. All right guys, so in the last snippet I showed you guys, I basically unboxed all of it and showed you guys all the parts and everything that was gonna be going together. That was a couple days ago, back when I was doing the Off-Road modular off-road mount over there. It's been a couple days since then, and right now I am working on setting up the antenna on how I want to run that. It's been a little complicated trying to figure out how I want to mount it, where I want to mount it. In the directions they say for the best outcome, I guess, like the best reception, that kind of stuff, is to go through the roof of your truck. I don't want to do that, so I think I found a spot where I do want to end up putting it on. And as I was showing in the video before, they do give you a bunch of different brackets that you can use. Whether like if you don't have ditch lights up front, they have a bracket that you can put on your hood for that. This one also you can use on your hood depending on your application, what you want to do with it. I want to say, I think this one's for the 3rd gen Tacomas, this one's for the 2nd gen. And then they give you some of these other, like 2 of these brackets. These come with in the box with the radio itself, so they might be used as like a spacer or an extension or something like that if you need to do that. I'm not using it for that purpose. I actually found something else that I want to do. So, so the other night when I was working on all that, I went on ahead and I just kind of set it all up in the truck how I want it. It's extremely easy. So I'll show you guys how I did it. Honestly, you can even just do it in 5 minutes by yourself or less than that. And the goal here is the cable that goes all the way to it. It's long, but it's not quite long enough to go from, like, if you want it in the bed, to go all the way up to the front, through the firewall, and then up and over to your radio. I ended up, what I found out is I can actually, I'm going to have the antenna mounted here on the back of the bed, and I'm going to run this down the passenger side where the factory antenna is, and I just cut a little hole in that grommet there, and I'll just feed it right in. So that should be enough length. I might even have a little bit too much length, and in the instructions it says not to bunch it up or wrap it up because it'll ruin with the connection, I guess. So they say if you do end up having extra length, like route it longer so it's like straight in most places. So yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. I will show you guys exactly how I have this set up though. So I kind of had to rig this up myself a little bit because they don't give you any like nuts and bolts to hold anything in place which you want to mount it on. So I did just go ahead and throw it on a clamp and just drilled some holes into it, made it a little bit bigger. So I took one of those bracket mounts as I was showing, and I had some bed mounts here. Let me see if I get this one here. So I had some bolts and then some of these, I don't know, whatever you call these rectangle things, but those slide on the rack system of the bed itself. So my plan here is slide this end in onto the rack, and then I put a bigger hole in the center there, and I want to take that other spacer thingy, this thing here, and I want to bolt this, because this is not a thing I'm going to go with, onto there, so it's like this, and then have the antenna on the back of that. So it's just going to slide right onto the bed rail itself and then just mount on there. So I did have to modify some things to get that to work, but I think it should fit. I did also want to let you guys know I had kind of a dumb moment. I didn't know how to get this to actually fit because I didn't know if I didn't know if this would come off, because when it's shipped, this is completely like this right here is threaded on there, and I didn't want to risk breaking anything. Well, I'll show you guys how it comes. So yeah, it comes on like that, and I honestly didn't know if this was all one piece. I didn't know I could unscrew that, so I had to ask some of my friends on how they did theirs, and they're like, it comes off, and I'm like, what? So yeah, it just unthreads, and then make sure I get that off. Yeah, and then you can just put it onto the mount like so, and then don't forget the plastic washer goes on top, and then it'll just sit in there, and then you just screw it on like that, kind of get it centered where you want it. And yeah, so now that's on the bracket itself, and then you can take this and put it on there. With this though, if you're realizing it's not threading on, like you just can't get it to go, you may need to like push on it, because there's like, I don't know, this thing pushes in for the connection, So if it doesn't want to go on, you might just need to push it in a little bit. But yeah, so that just goes right on there, and it has an O-ring on it already, so that way it doesn't get wet on the inside, which is nice. But yeah, so something like that. That's how it'll look. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to get this slid onto the rail, and I'll show you guys what it looks like once that part's done. And then once that's in, I will show you guys the inside, what we've got going on with the radio. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and get onto that. And then, yeah, I'll show you guys from there. So hopefully you guys have some like extra bolts lying around, so that way if you need to, you can rig something up yourself to get, you know, your own custom fit, especially if you don't want to go through the roof. And if you have ditch lights already, this might be your best option here, is just to get it mounted on the bed. Yeah, hopefully this part will help. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that mounted up over there and right back to you guys. All right, so I went on ahead and I got the rest of this installed here. So as you can see, this is not on the bed. As I was mounting it to the bed and running the cable all the way up to the front, I was like 1 foot short from it being able to reach and plug in up there. So that's when I had the thought, I was like, hold up, maybe this thing can actually attach to the brackets I already have. And it totally does. So I'm assuming that's probably what that was made for. So yeah, so that fit on there perfectly. And I was originally wanting to do on the passenger side, but then from the instructions, as I was saying earlier, it wants you to not bunch up the cable. They want it to have you like run it around basically. But if I put it over there, it wasn't long enough to go around, so it wasn't like right next to each other. So what I ended up doing is ended up mounting on this side and have the cable going from here down all the way across. Basically, I just zip tied it along the harness that's along the side. And then I'll show you here in just a moment how everything works there. But I ended up going down right next to where the antenna is, the stock antenna. And then I just cut a little hole in the firewall for that antenna and then ran it through straight into the radio. So yeah, so far it's not too bad. When you are installing the radio as well, I just want to let you know, make sure the radio, the dial on the right is the volume control. When it's turned all the way to the left, that turns the radio off. Make sure that's all the way turned to the left, because it scared me when I powered that thing on, like plugged in the power. It instantly turned right on and I thought I was going to break it. So just make sure it's turned all the way to the left so it's off. As far as the wiring goes, it's kind of the same way you would anything else. In the directions, it said that it wants it hooked up directly to the battery itself. So it shouldn't actually end up draining the battery at all as long as the radio is turned off. So just make sure after you're done using it, turn it off. But I hooked it up to positive and negative, ran it through the firewall the same way I've run everything else. And then I just went around the gas, but like just behind the pedals and then underneath the flooring. And as you guys know, I have vinyl flooring. I took the carpet out, so I just put it right behind that and then up the trim and then just behind underneath the gear shifting, all that stuff, and then back on the other side. So I'll show you all of that. But basically from the front, this is what it goes to. It just goes right next to the ditch light here, and it's not necessarily even in the way. Like when I hopped into back up and turn around, I honestly forgot it was even there. I didn't even notice it. So that is really nicely done there. I do like that a lot. But yeah, so I will go ahead and take you guys inside, show you what we've got going on. I'll let you know passenger footwell is filled with stuff because I'm still cleaning it out, because it is, as I was working over there originally trying to loop the wires over there, I found a lot more of that soup that spilled. So I've got to clean all that out too. So it's a good thing that we were actually doing that today, because I found more than what I originally thought. So gonna get that cleaned up. Yeah, take you guys inside and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so don't mind all the mud in here. It gets dirty really quickly, but thankfully with vinyl, it's easier to clean whenever I get to it. So I had the wires going down under there, just behind the pedals, and it's tucked up underneath this just a little bit, but then it runs up behind this. So it comes up up through here. It's just underneath this, goes over, and then comes out this side right there, and then it's plugged in. I wasn't quite certain what I wanted to do with these wires yet because they're down on the bottom. I didn't know if I wanted to just like cut a hole and feed it in there, but then it kind of defeats the purpose of it being like, you know, vinyl floor being waterproof. So I didn't really want to go that route, but I did get it mounted here. So sorry guys, that's just it's just dirty over there, but it mounts right there underneath, like on the seat bracket. I guess you can go under or on top of it. It honestly, I don't think matters at all. So that bracket just goes there, and you can attach the radio to that bracket, so you don't have to put any holes in it. And then it does have a stopper right there, so that way with vibration, it's not gonna, you know, rub anything like that. But so far, yeah, that's the radio, and I did get it mounted up to the dash here, so I can just take it off and on, and it just stays. So I might, if you saw the install for this, I might end up adjusting this so it's a little tilted, but for right now, honestly, I think that works. But when you go over here, so it's turned all the way to the left, as I was saying, turn it one to the right, and it turns on, and it'll go through all the channels, whatever you want it to be. And it's cool that it lights up there. I like that a lot. And that turns it off. So yeah, basically that was it. So yeah, honestly, it's pretty straightforward. It's just really tedious getting everything like wired in and all that stuff. Like that coaxial cable back there was kind of a pain, so I actually will show you guys how I did that over there in just a second. But yeah, definitely allow yourself to have at least like an hour and a half, 2 hours to do this, because you really want to be thinking things out, not trying to rush through it. Yeah, because if you mess up on one thing, it'll destroy the radio. They even said in the instructions that if you turn the radio on before the antenna, it also has the ability to damage the radio and it won't be usable, basically. So just keep that in mind there when you're doing this. But yeah, honestly, this is actually pretty sick. So yeah, I'll show you guys the outside, and yeah, and then we'll probably wrap this up. Okay, so sorry, everything in here I painted it black so it's harder to see, but there is the ground bit right there where the antenna goes into, the stock antenna does. So I just cut a little tiny hole next to it and fed the coaxial cable through that, and then that's where I looped it up into there through the cowl, and then basically just zip tied everything else down from there. So that right there goes directly into the footwell over there. So just go straight in and plug right in. So that was nice. But yeah, so now we've got a radio, so I don't have to borrow somebody else's while I go wheeling. That was the hard part about when we went to Telluride. I didn't have a workable radio, and the radio I had from a friend, it worked most of the time, but its range wasn't super far. But I mean, it worked in the instance, but now we've actually got one in there that should be pretty good. So definitely excited for that. Coming along pretty nicely. I'm honestly not sure what's, oh wait, yeah, I know what's next. We've got the Outgear Solution bed caps coming. It says it's preparing shipment, so we'll see what's going on with that. It's been like 2 weeks, but once we get that on, then we're gonna end up cutting the back bed sides and getting those actually look pretty nice. Yeah, hopefully after that, I probably need to do the rear bench seat in the back. I know I've been mentioning that for a while, but I think I'm almost there to be able to do that. Yeah, definitely thinking about that. And I know some of you guys are asking about the Edge Venture tent. Definitely working on that as well. It's a little out of the price range right now, but we're getting there. I'm also thinking about possibly having one designed as well with them, so that way it's a little more what I want. Yeah, I'll let you guys know the details on that as it comes along. And yeah, going ahead and we will wrap this up. All right, everyone, so there you have it. You were able to see how to install the rugged radio there for your Tacoma. The install is basically the same for basically any model that they offer there. It's going to have the same mounts where you can just mount it to the passenger seat, so you don't have to put any holes into it. As you know, definitely didn't go quite exactly how I was planning it to go. It would be nice if the cord there was just a little bit longer, so it'd give you a little more range, because most people probably don't want to end up cutting through their roof in order to install the antenna, especially that was my case. I didn't want to have to do that. So mounting it towards the bed was definitely my more preferred option because it would give it more space. But honestly, over next to the ditch mount, I'm cool with that as well. I think that works out fairly nicely, especially since they give you all those extra brackets. I have those as well to use on something else if I wish. But yeah, so honestly, it was pretty straightforward, but as I was saying, give yourself at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to do the install, just to make sure you're not rushing through things. Because that's definitely the part when you're working with electricity. You don't want to damage your battery, you don't want to hurt yourself, but you also don't want to damage the radio. So if you guys have any questions about the install, or if you liked it, just leave it down below. As for everything else, everything's going pretty good with the build. Like I was saying as well, the next step is going to be the Outgear solution rear bumper caps and then the rear Corbeau seats. That's what the two things are going to be coming up with, I believe. But I guess, we'll find out. Definitely the Outgear one for sure, because that's already on the way. But yeah, I guess we'll go from there. Hopefully the next video will be out within the next week and a half for you guys. And if you guys are interested in anything else on the channel and things that support me, you're welcome to go to TacomaMania.com. Check out the stuff we have over there. I will be adding some more stuff here in the future as well. I've been looking at a whole bunch of other accessories, not even just for Tacomas, even for 4Runners as well. I got some displays on there for 4Runners. I even got a couple for the Tundras lined up, but basically I'm trying to get everything out there so you guys can just pick what you want and send it on the way. But yeah, if you're interested in just the merch, they're definitely pretty comfy. It's pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. So definitely don't want to push you guys too hard on that. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and stay safe out there and also stay warm. But get out there, hit some trails as soon as you can, and keep living your life. See you guys.